The declaration's going to be read out in the House of Commons next week. By Lee Smith. Rivers made the dismissive gesture. Yes, well, I know, but it still means the press. And the minister will say that no disciplinary action has been taken because Mr. Sassoon is suffering from a severe mental breakdown and therefore not responsible for his actions. I'm not sure I'd prefer that to prison. I don't suppose he was offered the choice. Will you take him? You mean I am being offered the choice? In view of your caseload, yes. Rivers took off his glasses and swept his hand down across his eyes. I suppose they have remembered to send the file. Sassoon leant out of the carriage window, still half expecting to see Graves come pounding along the platform, looking even more dishevelled than usual. But further down the train, doors had already begun to slam, and the platform remained empty. The whistle blew. Immediately he saw lines of men with grey, muttering faces clambering up the ladders to face the guns. He blinked them away. The train began to move. Too late for Robert now. Prisoner arrives without escort, Sassoon thought, sliding open the carriage door. By arriving an hour early, he'd managed to get a window seat. He began picking his way across to it through the tangle of feet. An elderly vicar, two middle-aged men, both looking as if they'd done rather well out of the war, a young girl and an older woman, obviously travelling together. The train bumped over a point. Everybody rocked and swayed, and Sassoon, stumbling, almost fell into the vicar's lap. He mumbled an apology and sat down. Admiring glances, and not only from the women. Sassoon turned to look out of the window, hunching his shoulder against them all. After a while, he stopped pretending to look at the smoking chimneys of Liverpool's back streets and closed his eyes. He needed to sleep, but instead Robert's face floated in front of him, white and twitching as it had been last Sunday, almost a week ago now, in the lounge of the Exchange Hotel. For a moment, looking up to find that khaki-clad figure standing just inside the door, he thought he was hallucinating again. "Robert, what on earth are you doing here?" He jumped up and ran across the lounge. "Thank God you've come." "I got myself past fit." "Robert, no." "What else could I do, after getting this?" Graves dug into his tunic pocket and produced a crumpled piece of paper. "A covering letter would have been nice." "I wrote." "No, you didn't, Sass. You just sent me this. Couldn't you at least have talked about it first?" "I thought I'd written." They sat down, facing each other across a small table. Cold northern light streamed in through the high windows, draining Graves's face of the little colour it had. "Sass, you've got to give this up." "Give it up? You don't think I've come this far, do you, just to give in now?" "Look, you've made your protest. For what it's worth, I agree with every word of it, but you've had your say. There's no point making a martyr of yourself." "The only way I can get publicity is to make them court-martial me." "They won't do it." "Oh, yes, they will. It's just a matter of hanging on." "You're in no state to stand a court-martial." Graves clasped his clenched fist. "If I had Russell here now, I'd shoot him." "It was my idea." "Oh, pull the other one." "And even if it was, do you think anybody's going to understand it? They'll just say you've got cold feet." "Look, Robert, you think exactly as I do about the war, and you do nothing." "All right, that's your choice, but don't come here lecturing me about cold feet. This is the hardest thing I've ever done." Now, on the train going to Craiglockhart, it still seemed the hardest thing. He shifted in his seat and sighed, looking out over fields of wheat bending to the wind. He remembered the silvery sound of shaken wheat, the shimmer of light on the stalks. He'd have given anything to be out there, away from the stuffiness of the carriage, the itch and constriction of his uniform. On that Sunday, they'd taken the train to Formby and spent the afternoon wandering aimlessly along the beach. A dull, wintry-looking sun cast their shadows far behind them,